Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you to the witnesses. Earlier on today in your testimony, my video is turned off. Early on in your testimony today, you stated that you didn't see any problem with Superintendent Leather releasing information about the April 28th call because that was already in the public domain. Is that correct?
It's relevant to that at the commission, yes. So I didn't I wouldn't understand why Superintendent Leather would say that we advised him that he couldn't talk about that when those documents were already public. In fact, we were all talking about that. That was part of what this committee heard and what the commission heard as well.
And you also said that you were not aware of the April 22nd call that Superintendent Leather had with Commissioner Lucki until he spoke about it at the inquiry, correct?
That's correct. So I heard him mention that, I think at this committee on the 25th, but our council who are working in Halifax on the team were in hearing that day, didn't hear it, but they heard it from him when he testified at the commission on the 27th in 2022.
Okay, so you didn't hear about it on the call that your officials did not hear about the 22nd call with Commissioner Lucki and Leather when he spoke with the Justice Department.
July 5th, when our council met with him, he raised it for the very first time when he testified before this committee.
I find this very interesting because in a CBC interview, Leather stated that did he reach out to the department? He reached out to you seeking legal advice, correct?
With every witness to prepare them, to help them prepare for their testimony. So it's part of the services that we provide as the Department of Justice, is to prepare the RCMP and other departments for their testimony before the commission.
So Superintendent Leather stated in an interview with CBC that he specifically raised the issue of the April 22nd call with the Justice Department because he was concerned about the relevance of that in regards to the later April 28th meeting. So are you saying that Superintendent Leather basically just imagined that he brought up the April 22nd call to your officials?
Met with him on the 5th. They tell me that he did not raise it. It is not in the notes that he's submitted as part of the 2,400 pages of notes. Nothing in his notes mentions this call to the commissioner on the 22nd. And during his testimony, our council were surprised to hear for the first time that there had been a call on the 22nd because it had never been mentioned before he testified on the 27th.
I just think it's very interesting because Superintendent Leather stated that that was the whole purpose that he wanted to talk to the Department of Justice was about that April 22nd call. So if that was the whole purpose of the meeting, he didn't mention it was about a wellness report. He mentioned it was about the April 22nd call and what he could and could not share. And so the main reason that he reached out to you guys was about the April 22nd meeting, but you're saying that you don't have any evidence that he brought it up at the meeting.
Our council are telling me he did not bring it up at the meeting, and he didn't reach out for us to talk about the April 22nd call. He met with council in order to be prepared on his entire testimony, not just the question of the April 28th meeting or the meeting of the call of the 22nd. He didn't raise that, and there's nothing in his notes for us to have raised it with him either. We didn't know that there was that call. We learned about it for the first time when we met with him when he testified about the call on the 22nd at his testimony before this committee and then the commission 2 days later. The wellness report, either because it was commissioned a year after the events by, I'm not sure by whom, but by the RCMP, he raised it for the first time on July 5th. We had never heard of it. And so, you know.
Have you had time to review this wellness report now that you bring it up?
I haven't reviewed it myself, no, but our council have. And
does the Department of Justice
version,
consider that is privileged at this time?
We have produced a copy of the report for the commission. The commission has not yet decided whether to make it public in part or in whole.
Is it redacted in any way?
It is redacted for personal information, is my understanding, but I haven't seen it myself.
And is your department responsible for the redactions on Leah Scanlon's testimony that we've seen the commission release?
You have time to respond, and then we have to wrap up.
I'm not sure which redactions you're referring to, so I'm afraid I don't know the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, MP Lloyd. We're going to have to move on.